Welcome to Touring Car. Today we'll be working on engine code that I got, the P0010, something to do with the cam position sensor and the intake. So we'll go ahead and replace that so that way I can get this car inspected, we can drive it on the road. And also I had to do some stuff on the exhaust. The cats were bad, so we had a secondary O2 sensor message as well. That was taken care of prior to this video. So I will show you the work that they did for that, and stay tuned. So here we are in the car. So we're going to go ahead and do a diagnostic. I have a laptop and the necessary cable to plug into this car. This particular one I've used before in one of my previous videos, the Rostec VCDS. So you can check it out on our site. And let's see what. Show you the error message that I'm getting for this. Okay. Cart some power here. OBD2. Current error codes. And I don't know if you can see this. P0010, bank 1, camshaft A, intake, positional actuator malfunction. So, with that, let me close this out and turn this off. So with that, we'll go ahead and I have the positional sensor. We'll go ahead and try to replace that and see if that solves that error code, the P0010. What we'll do is we'll install it, clear it with this laptop software, clear the code, and I'm going to go drive it. And if it's good, then we'll go ahead and get the car inspected. Of course, the registration goes with that. In here in the state of Texas, and from there we'll move on to installing the exhaust that I had gotten, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. So here's the exhaust that I picked up, and the brand on it, excess power. And I picked it up pretty cheap, used, but the guy hardly used it, as you can tell how clean it is. And if we can sort out that whole engine code thing, we'll go ahead and install this. I'll also show you what the guys did for the exhaust, the problem that I was having. I'll explain that in detail. So let's go and start working on the sensor. Alright, so this is the passenger side of the engine right here. Over there is the driver's side. This is the bank 1. Cylinder number 1 is right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the sensor should be behind here or in the front of here. I don't remember where it is on here. So we're going to go ahead and take all this stuff off here. Possibly remove this out of the way. And see where we can find the sensor. And we'll go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so now it's installed. I used the T27 for the bolts that hold this sensor in, and I put the clip back in, the plug and the clip to hold it in place. And what we'll do now is we'll reset the code and drive the car, and hopefully this fixes the P0010 for right now. If not, we'll probably have to get someone to look further into it that has a little more knowledge than I do. Yeah, so this sucker was pretty dirty. It could have been a bad connection, it could have been just worn out, I don't know. But we have a Bosch in there. I showed you the part number a few seconds ago. And it installed pretty easily. You just got to make sure you put it in an angle, because there's a little part of the loop that the bolt goes in that you need to stick it under, and it fits perfectly fine in there. And I'm looking at the timing belt. The timing belt looks a little worn. It was done not too long ago, so it's I think it's probably worn for how long it's been on the car. So it's something that we'll have to think about in the future, near future, to replace. I have information on when that was replaced. I'll have to double check it, but I mean, it's not torn or has cracks in it or anything like that, so it's in good shape. So what I'll do is we'll go ahead and button this up, and I'll probably leave the shields off and test drive the car and see if it brings up the engine light. If not, we'll go ahead and get it inspected and move on to the exhaust. Yay! Okay, so let's go ahead, clear this code before I drive it. I guess I should have left the laptop on. Didn't think it was going to take this quick. Alright, so of course we still have the engine light showing, and of course we still have that error. So now I'm going to clear it. We are done. So don't know if I had the error from last time. Let's see. No. Documents. It's the camshaft. Camshaft. Codes. Okay, so just before I forget, here's the other one I had. Catalyst system, bank 1, efficiency below threshold. So this was the other error that I had tackled with the exhaust, and I'm going to go through, explain what happened with that. But it's a P0420, and it's in bank 1, so it was on the passenger side. And yeah, that was pretty bad. So if we fix the sensor issue, I can move on to the exhaust, and I can explain to you what we did for the exhaust. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and take it for a test drive, and we'll see if we fix the sensor issue. So I went and got the inspection, and it passed. No engine lights, so we fixed our issue with the P0010. So when you have the bank 1 intake, it's going to be the round sensor that you need to replace. And on the bank 1, it's in the front. Bank 2, it's in the back. It's opposite sides. and it's the same sensor, so same part number. So that should resolve any issues that are similar to what I had, and we should have a little more fun with the exhaust. But I cannot put it on right now because the engine is well, the exhaust is hot right now, so I'm gonna wait until the end of the day and probably do it at the end of the day, so which means that the exhaust is going to be on the next video. So there's more stuff coming up, more parts and things that I need to replace, and then let me show you the wheels that I'll be getting. So this is a taste of the wheels. They are 20s by 8.5. I'm gonna have to get some spacers, and also the bore, the hub center bore, whatever you call it. I also need a spacer for that as well. And I found one that gives me both the spacer, about 5 millimeters. I'm gonna get. I have a clearance of maybe 3-ish or 4, maybe less. It's pretty close to the caliper, so I'm gonna go ahead and just buy a spacer just to knock it out a little bit, and then that way you also get the center bore spacer for that. So until next time, make sure you follow along on Instagram. I post some stuff on there from time to time. Rare cars, I like unique rare cars. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. The email will be at the bottom. Subscribe, like, later.